So it's me again, like Christina. And so like I'm presenting for the first author, Mofi. Like he sadly cannot come this time. But, like she like really developed her life in this project and like also like helped to make the slides and the scripts. So long story short, Cairo is a test collection for cross-lingual information retrieval dataset, specifically for African language. So the cross-lingual is it's a retrieval for like cross-language where the query and document like they're in different language to allow the information access of user like across like to like different languages. And this is opposed to like more traditional like monolingual, like say in English we have English query document or like Chinese query and documents. Right, and the reason we want to build this new data set is because the current ones, so first, like they're mostly created by synthetic rules, like from the Wikipedia links or like the other heuristic rules, so which of course is not modeling the search intent or like the relevance judgment of the real human beings. And second issue is that like most of the data set nowadays, like they're based on the Wikipedia, so which is of course like a legit source itself, but like for African language or like the low resource language itself, like in general, like those does not have like enough contents in terms of the resource, like the contents are really short, like not providing information. Maybe like say you just have like a list of contents, but like there's no actual list being there, and also it also have a very limited coverage of the contents. So like that's why we're switching to like local news datasets to have a better information provider. And the third issue is that the current datasets, like we know like in English, like we have track, and for the more higher resource language, we have CLAP, like these community-based efforts to provide like lots of sources for the poll, like to provide the poll of the labeling candidates. But for African language, like we don't really have this before. Cool. So like let's quickly go through the annotation process where we like based on we have the inspiration passage from the news articles. So from where we ask our like native annotators to like write questions by inspired by the passage, but cannot be answered by it. And then after we have the queries, it will go through like an example of the retrieval methods to prepare the candidates. And from there, we have the first round of shallow judgments, where like around like 20 passage for like per query. So this forms the first set of the evaluation set, in which we divide it into the 3 split. And then based on that, for the test set A, we had a shared task with Fire, and there we have like multiple submissions from the teams. So there we have like enough candidates round files to form what we call like the deep judgment. So yes, so like this is a more like a track style like a form of annotation where we have like around 100 candidates for each question. Cool. And then here's the statistics. So like we're over to have like 2.5 million passage like over like 4 of the African language, and like here's the number of queries. And so for each number, like for the shallow judgments, like we have like this amount of relevant judgments. I'm going to read the number out, but like it's roughly like 18 judgments per query, as I mentioned. And specifically for test set A, we have like around like 80 to 100 judgments. So like in total, it goes up to 30,000 queries. Yeah. And of course, like we provide the both retrieval and re-ranking baselines as a reference to the community. And for the retrieval, we have like the left part are the different like BM25 results based on the human query translation, the machine query translation, and the machine document translation. And so where we find like the machine document is always like way better than before, like which is significant, but we do not show the results, like the bar here. And also we have 2 variants of the dense retrievers. Like one is the general multilingual, and the other is the one we train specifically for African language, what we call like AfriBerta DPR, and the fusion of the best model of the lexical and dense retriever. And we also have 2 variants of the re-ranking, the general T5 and the African language specific T5, and both re-ranking on the document translated version, like the BM25 based on the machine translated document translation. Cool. So like finally a quick takeaway, like we have built a like high quality data collection like by the native speakers of these 4 African language, Hausa, Somali, Swahili, and Yoruba. And we provide retrieval and ranking baselines, and like this is a shared task between like with the FIRE 2023. So and you can find the documentations for the dataset, and also like we have an overview for the FIRE competition. Yeah. So thank you. If you have any questions, like we don't have a QA session, but feel free to email.